But we know sometimes in these last days, these teams can just turn it on. So WTSG cannot rest on their laurels.
Well, you touched on this at the beginning of this matchroom, that they have such a substantial lead that their lead is more points than some teams have scored. So to give you guys an understanding of how substantial this lead is, they have 48 points ahead of the next closest team, Omaken. Only 3 other teams have scored enough points in one day to overtake that if WTSG completely blanks out.
So now, moving back into our regular matches after those amazing show matches, I'm going to miss gliders now. That's my big problem. After watching all those gliders everywhere.
I really enjoyed those. That was super fun.
So with this, we've got a little bit of a quick listen in with one of the teams. Let's go ahead and check out what's going on with them. And oh, look, all these little fun parts of the map you don't get a chance to really see over here. And
hello.
We're going to do our tour.
Oh, wait, is there more than one?
Yeah, look at this. We got the little layout going on, and there's the map that you were just talking about. Got ammo right in the middle of it. Is that a marker showing where the in-game circle is going to be at?
That's the indicator.
Is that the master strategy is?
Yes.
Now everybody needs to make their way over towards... This is the original names of everything, isn't it?
Dirtbag.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That's the... you know what? I'm not even going to...
Yeah, I remember that the moment we saw the announcement and we saw the map with that, everybody was just like, oh, this is going to be fun names to cast. But
speaking of...
Looking back over there, got a knock onto Pome, I believe. I'm just going to try to flush that one out. And that's going to be first blood going back over towards shoot to kill. So a good start to this round.
Yeah, this has been kind of the struggle for Singularity at times on this map, is shoot to kill really does a good job of putting the pressure on them. They want to pick up points. They're hungry to try to get this win, so they're going to try to set up picks on the Singularity members. They've done very well at it in scrims. Let's see if they can keep it up. Meanwhile, Udyr trying to get a grenade in onto Wolf.
Wolf finding himself in a little bit of a difficult predicament. He's got some reinforcements coming up onto one angle, so now Udyr has to respond to this. They do have Shiv off to the side of this for Exalt that's trying to get a little bit of damage back over towards Wolf. But I don't think that Wolf has even tracked the reposition coming up from Udyr. That grenade is in the entirely wrong building right now. So if Rello continues this push, this could be quite bad, as he's just going to walk right into a group of Exalt members that are trying to make their way into this.
Well, WTSG, of course, everybody knows about this team. The 2 stats I want to give from this team going into today through 12 games. Iroh is your leader in terms of average survival time, the only player averaging over 23 minutes per game in survival. So he's kind of being the snake as well as a strong fragger for them.
Nobody's really coming into the territory. We've seen that this team and some of the players very regularly like to go for long-range shots. I mean, we know that these guys are great with sniper rifles, bolts, and we also see them kind of like set up positions and try to set up traps to catch people early in rotations. Now they're kind of playing a little bit more passive inside of this. New Circle does pop, going back over there next to Power Grid, still has San Martin and Hacienda inside of it, as well as a little bit of Picado, so just our teams back down to the south having to reposition.
Yep, FaZe, Omaken, Exodus gonna have to make some pretty big transitions. Metagaming as well. Looks like Melman might have found Miraku here.
That's going to be hard to polish off. Long-range shots coming through, but it looks like TE saw who this was, so Tornado Energy coming in with a lot of energy of their own. So just trying to make their push over onto this. They still have the down onto Iroh. The flush is going to come through. Now they're just on the hunt for that last player that's right up on top of them. But with all the smokes down, it is so hard to see where they're at.
So this could be the story of the day for WTSG. What is this? That's how I feel after I eat. No, I'm not going to finish that.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, be careful with those words. All right, so we've got everybody starting to have to rotate. Finally, a little bit of a rougher circle coming into play, and it's going to be shoot to kill that find themselves in a bad spot as they aggress back over towards Meta. 2 members down and flushed out. Sakaishin almost did go down inside of that, but that is going to slow down a little bit of the rotation coming through. Luke's off in the distance, caught up next to WTSG inside their rotation. They are inside the safe zone, so they do have some sight lines back over towards it, but that is way up towards the north right now as Pretty Purdy is trying to get a little bit more damage onto an already weakened WTSG, but Meta is still continuing to harass shoot to kill.
Yeah, Hayagwin just putting some damage into the back of Purdy Curdy, not allowing him to get the knock onto Zhong here. Bakemba coming up and over, trying to put the damage down. Nothing doing. Some nice tries, but right now, Zhong, you know, this is something that they talked about in the pregame show, is Zhong's weird ability to just find ways to snake out points for his teams when everyone else dies early. And look, once again, it's him. He's the one that's the last one alive. He comes into a building, he gets in there. We'll see if anybody tries to pounce on him or go for it, but that's a really underrated skill in competitive PUBG.
He has the fanciest feat of anybody to dodge out bullets, it feels like. Everybody else is sitting over here playing PUBG, and he's like full on Matrix, dodging bullets as they come down next to him. But the Exalt boys are really wishing they could dodge a couple of bullets as they just keep getting dropped as they're making this rotation through. Oath is still trying to put up a little bit of a fight, but Tornado Energy that we saw rotate over this spot just a couple of seconds ago.
Poor Zhang, he went in there using it as like kind of a safety valve, hoping that no one would go there. Now there might be a lot of people getting forced in. Meanwhile, Raspu putting some damage into Wooly. This is the team that Toffees was really hoping to step up today, and that grenade's going to miss the mark.
Be pretty far out, but still going to continue a little bit more damage. That means this is going to be a run-and-gun situation. You can see Liquid trying to make their rotation as their vehicle is caught and rolling. They already lost one member inside of this rotation. That's another one getting popped off the vehicle right there, and that's going to be another Liquid member down. So it is just Abisa that got caught out inside of that, somehow managing to survive through. We knew that one was going to be rough for them. Tornado Energy still just trying to hold down this position, taking a couple of shots back at people as they're rotating through, but Exalt's holding down two different points, or just the solo point right now, but looking back towards two different teams as they're making a rotation. Up to the north of this, you can hear the firefight going on between Oath and Shoot to Kill, as that is the last member of Liquid, has a beat back over towards his head.
Yeah, here we go. Shinboy is the last member up for Oath. Snakers and Raylo bleeding out, but we might be able to get the reses unless Meta just decides to pounce on top of this. Now, Exodus making a great rotation. You can see them in kind of the middle, right by the end of San Martin. In fact, they're going to try to dive a little bit further. I think that might be a bit of an overextension here from Exodus. They're going to lose Balefrost trying to go for it. Purdy Curdy with a nice headshot. Can he get the next one? He isn't able to control the spray. He's out of ammo. Dodges, but it's not enough.
Tries to go for the reload and cannot quite get it, so Oath still trying to get their members back up. Very difficult rotation coming out for a lot of these teams just because of that huge cliff facing that's just to the east of Power Grid. Nobody could really aggress that direction. Where IG is at is kind of like the defining line of where you just cannot climb up. You can kind of sneak up on this little area, but you can see how far of a massive drop just goes down in this terrain point. So a lot of these teams having to give wide angles, and the teams that are down toward the bottom and the top just taking apart everybody that has to rotate through here.
Yeah, it was a nice idea by a lot of these teams to, especially Exodus to come through when Team Liquid made their move. Speaking of, sorry Liquid, that is going to be the end of your round here in the first game of the day, as we saw Wildcard looking to put some damage down on the Red Canids who are stuck in the blue. This is, I don't know what else they could do here. I don't know if they have any vehicles or anything over there. I suspect not, since they haven't tried to send it just yet.
Remember, the Red Canids started this fight. They were taking shots back into the back of Wooly while he was rotating through, and they did manage to get the down and the flush onto him. But now they're being gate kept out by the team that they started this fight with. Wildcard looks like they want to opt a little bit further away from this, but that's going to be Canids getting taken down there. There is just to the south of that area also IG and Singularity still playing around the hillside trying to find somewhere to go, but that's a pretty nice little crate that can be picked up. And yes, we're just going to continue going back over towards San Martin.
Yeah, so this is still so many buildings in this circle. So now the interesting part becomes that every team, there is going to be real estate available for them to take. Whether they can get there safely or not is another question. Then as the circle starts to shift away from you, how can you get in and out of there? Smokes are going to become incredibly valuable.
Na'Vi trying to hold down their position right now as multiple teams trying to aggress towards them. They've got Wildcard that's really the main contenders right now. Sharpshot's already down for that team. 5 kills coming out from Na'Vi off of this nice position that they're playing off of. Really, I'm kind of curious to see how you can see Wildcard use the terrain to sneak back over here through this. Inside Games taking a couple long shots that do connect. Go ahead and get another member down, but it looks like Na'Vi realizes, okay, let's just go ahead and go for a position inside the circle and just wait for Wildcard to come to us.
Yeah, I don't know if Na'Vi knows that Keenan has pushed up as far as he has. I was kind of wondering if maybe Keenan could sneak around here, maybe get a double for himself, but right now he's waiting for the rest of Wildcard to give him some reinforcement as they are driving up and through that little crevasse over on the left-hand side of Na'Vi. Na'Vi trying to get some damage into them, but it's not going to be a ton, a little bit, though.
So with this, Wildcard does manage to make it next to San Martin, but guess who's there? That's going to be FaZe sitting up and waiting. And like magic, have you noticed that the circles continue to go to wherever Zhang decides that he wants to stop at whenever he has to send by himself? Sure, he's surrounded. He's got Atletico on one side, FaZe on another, and OMK towards the north, but he really doesn't have to do much here. And this is a nice position coming out from inside Games to take down Singularity, but does draw the aggro coming back over from Tornado Energy. So do lose one for that, but manage to eliminate at least one team before they go down, And yep, they're going to get spotted out as it's just a continual harass coming out from Tornado.
Yep, a nice little trap set up there by Ostrolovac, but unfortunately for IG, that will be the end of their round as we are getting through 10 teams left, 30 players alive. Hyagwin getting a little bit of damage in there. He's found Oath. Let's see if he can get this frag grenade to connect. 1 up, 2 on the way. I saw some damage come through. That one's going to bounce a little bit too far.
So now Oath in a world of hurt. Meta is just raining grenades onto their heads. That one's going to connect and take down Shinboy, and the next shot's going to come through. Headshot takes him down, so Oath gets eliminated in 10th place. That gives Meta control of almost the entirety of the eastern part of the circle. Really, it's just Tornado Energy that has sightlines back towards them, but they should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, this is the best game we've seen here so far from Meta Gaming that I can remember. Still got 4 up, picking up a lot of kills, doing a good job keeping other teams at bay. I mean, like you said, they've controlled a lot of the territory up on the northeastern part, and that's probably the most valuable part unless the circle does this.
With the position that we were talking about beforehand, Tornado Energy was holding down the spot and really just harassing everybody in rotation. That's how they're sitting at 8 kills already at this point. We saw them start to surge up towards the end of the day yesterday, starting to move further up inside the leaderboards, getting into a nice couple of spots in the end game. But really, it's nice to see them to continue that in today.
Yeah, they're doing a great job landing their shots. Their long-range shooting very on point here in the last couple days. And surprise, surprise, Omakin is going to bust into your face and take you down. Not super close, but still, good job by Paige to get the last 2 members of Exodus.
Are you ready for San Martin to become the point where everybody is just going to have to start crashing down into and find some path to go? We have a couple of teams already holding down these nice points, but now you've got to come from those nice tasty hills where you were getting all those kills a second ago. Tornado Energy going to be wildcard members getting spotted out. Good spin back around coming from Keenan, but Aitzy's trying to follow this up. Trying to make the push back over into the one side of it. Keenan's just bouncing through terrain points, trying to use the cars, corners, anything that he can. He's firmly aware of who is right next to him, and I think that Aitzy has a 100% read on where he's at, but going to throw out a smoke on one angle, distract him out, and then decide to come back over here and try to go for the res, but not going to fall for the trap. Keenan's still on the hunt, coming around, trying to get this flush out and going to get it, but now Uba has moved into aggressive positioning back on the side of this.
Yeah, you really got to like what you're seeing out of Keenan, and I say that, and he's going to end up going down to Aitzy there as wildcard will go down in 8th place, but this guy's been very aggressive this tournament. He plays very well. He's very confident in himself. Meta, in the meantime, is in a battle with Tornado Energy, a 4v4 on the eastern side of the circle. Both teams need to get in.
Tornado Energy using a ton of utility, falling right back behind where Meta Gaming is going to be trying to position to. Sparking's been trying to hold the line for it, now has to start making a move, is getting a little bit too much aggression coming out of Tornado Energy. Let's not forget that we still have Navi holding down this position, looking back towards both teams. Best of luck, you've got to connect with those right there. That is a very important down to get for your team.
Yeah, that was not the best piece of shooting from Bestelach, trying to make up for it. Compot's going to get Hyagwin down. He's going to get the flush here as well. Only 2 members left for Tornado Energy, getting caught in between Meta Gaming and Navi. So they're sandwiched. There you can see Kaishin as well coming through on the side, but the smoke is there to at least give Compot some cover.
Tornado Energy moving aggressively into this position. They want this fight, but that does allow Meta Gaming to have a position just a little bit closer towards the safe zone. That's going to force all pressure back over towards Tornado Energy. They're going to have to make a move as the blue's coming in. Kaishin's still just holding this angle, trying to get the spray back over, and that's going to be Tornado Energy going down in 7th, but with a ton of kills.
Yep, good job by Kaishin holding that down. He knew the blue was going to be pushing someone in, pre-fired into that smoke, knowing full well that that was about the only way to get through. So again, good job by Meta. They come out with 3 alive in that 4v4, plus the help from Navi, and now the circle goes where it should be going, away from the city, and now Meta has a really nice position on that eastern edge.
Thank you, cameraman. I was going to say, Zhang has to move like 2 feet to stay inside the safe zone. How does he do it? Every single time.
Every time.
Every time.
There's just a couple of these players that throughout the world that just have this sixth sense on how to just snake out points for their team, and that's such a valuable thing. You talk about fragging, getting points for your team, snaking out placement points is another valuable asset.
Sinyo watching the rest of his team make the push across. Gonna jump out yeah, with that little bit of a skirt with the vehicle shifting off to the side, gonna get the knock onto him, but Bestelach gonna move into a position aggressively trying to stop any shots coming out from Atletico, but you can see Zhang's back behind this, using this distraction to move into the position that he really wants. Kimba's getting a little bit of grenade damage. Looks like Tab finally having to commit to the res on this. Sinyo doesn't have the cleanest angle, and Atletico is doing a great job of holding him back. He has got to be very cautious as he is by himself. If he goes down, he is as good as dead.
Yeah, Sparking here with 3 kills already, 9 total for Meta. playing out of their minds right now. Not much to lose. They're having a struggle throughout this tournament, and now they're finally turning it on. Might as well. Sometimes when things loosen up for you. One team I want to talk about right now, though, is Omakin. They are amazing in close-range battles, and once again, they're taking it to FaZe.
FaZe has 2 members up. Grenade's going to land right next to Fuzzface. He has to be very cautious. Uba is very close to being inside the safe zone, but it's all pressure over towards Fuzzface as he has 3 members of OMK looking back towards him, as well as one of the members from Meta, who's made a very long rotation back up and wants to get involved inside this fight. Senya feels like maybe he has an opportunity to make that push, but it's going to be Meta that continues to rain damage upon him. He's trying to look back over towards Athletico, but does get dropped, and that's going to be a quick flush to take him down.
Yeah, nice job there. Nick trying to help out his member of Athletico. Zoidmate has been knocked.
FaZe is just clinging to life right now, trying to find some angle to get some damage back over towards it. Finally do get a knock to turn it into a 2v2. But there's some damage that goes back over towards Uba as well. Fuzzface now having to switch over, be the point man, aggress through the smoke, looking for this. It's going to be run right into the doorway and just gets instantly dropped. So FaZe goes down in 5th.
Yeah, Ivo is bleeding out quick. That was his second knock. At one point I caught that he did get knocked by Navi in the background, but I think they should be able to get that revive. Potentially, it's really going to be really close. I'm watching the circle right now. Ivo is up, but Sparking is waiting here. He heard that fight, and it isn't going to be great because VHC is there as well to get the knock onto him. Getting quickly backed off, but at this point, Ivo is down.
Sparking being very patient, waiting for this, seeing what's going to happen and how the moves come through. We did see WTSG finally get eliminated just a second ago as well. That makes us down to 4 teams. The Navi's trying to get that damage back over towards Athletico, who did manage to approach and get up into this building complex pretty close to where we can see Navi trying to hold down. Meta is still just trying to gatekeep back this rotation coming up from OMK, but they did manage to make it to the safe zone. So it's just shots and trying to hold angles right now as Meta, the HZ, just trying to get the damage to finish off that flush and cannot do it. But Sparking in a beautiful position back behind OMK, gets the damage onto one, gets the knock onto it, tries to reposition around this, but there is so much smoke down right now, it is very difficult to try to push into this.
Yeah, this is going to be a make or break moment for Omakin in this game. Sparking with that M249 doing a great job. That is going to be Vazku going down, and I believe the other member, yes, Paige, does go down to that quick spray from Sparking. So I've seen a lot more M249 in this tournament than I can remember in recent history.
I know, I love it. And look at this sightline coming up from Nick. He is just destroying everything that Navi was trying to do with this hold right now. He does have the blue. It's ticking for a ton. Down to 15 life, but continuing to make the press up and forward. Got to be very cautious. Zoidmate's on a different angle and can provide a little bit of support with it, but now Nick's just having to slow move into this. Going to try to use the car for a little bit more cover. Zoidmate now finding himself in a little bit more dangerous position. Has to be very cautious.
How in the world was Ivo still alive? All right, Kemba with a nice headshot. He is going to get Nick 101 there. The Tab and him, the last 2 members, up for Navi. There goes Athletico in 4th place. A decent finish. Meta really looking to try to finish this one out. They've got the east side of the road all to themselves, and the center of the circle is very much in their control.
T-Bone, the guy from OMK that crossed the street, trying to get a position for the rest of his team. Still alive, trying to be on the hunt, see what's going on. Tabs does get spotted out. VHZ is doing a ton of work for Meta right now. He's drawing so much attention back onto this angle, trying to get his guys to find those good firing lines. They do manage to pick up one of them. Sparking's just being the gun right back behind him, trying to support. That's going to be Navi going down. Nice plays coming up from Meta right now, but T-Bone looking back over towards him. He's the last member up, and there we go. It's going to be Meta Gaming with 17 kills. Hot damn.
Wow, that is a really impressive performance from them. I mean, I thought we saw the game of the tournament from IG. Now they come through on the first game of the day here and absolutely put a mark on it.
27 points in 1 round. That is a phenomenal performance, and just constantly using the terrain and everything going on around him. So much information being collected by these guys. A solid performance.